everyone, welcome to the Movieception Show. I am Fariba, and just this morning, Marvel has dropped a official trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And as we all know, this is going to be the film that concludes Phase 4. So, right after this, we're going to have Phase 5, of course. But also, this is going to be a very emotional journey that we're going to have in terms of just Wakanda Forever, because this is going to be the one movie where Chadwick Boseman will not feature in the film because of his passing 2 years ago. And as we remember from the teaser trailer back at San Diego Comic-Con, the first teaser trailer we had received, it was an emotional trailer. You can tell the stakes were high. You can tell that the Wakandans had lost someone from what it seems was basically Chadwick Boseman's character, and just kind of how they're recovering from, they're basically going through this mourning process of, and grieving where they've lost their beloved king. And that's basically the whole situation that we are handling in terms of this whole movie, right? So and of course, not just that, but it also gave us a bit of an introduction and kind of a glimpse of the Atlanteans, which basically, as we all know, is Namor, and there's a lot of questions behind that because of how he could, be a big part of the MCU. But yeah, no, I expected a trailer to drop at some point. It dropped today, which means that we are hitting closer to its release date in November. So yeah, without further ado, let's watch the trailer for Wakanda Forever.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
His people did not call him general or king. They called him Kukul Khan, the feather serpent god. Killing him will risk eternal war.
He's coming for the surface world.
We know what you whisper. They lost the protector. Now is our time to strike. Show them who we are.
Alright, so that was the trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and if it wasn't a clear indication of what this movie is going to be before with the first teaser trailer, then it's pretty clear what this movie is going to be about in this official trailer. One thing, of course, like right off the back, the big difference of this trailer compared to the other one is that the first one was a very emotional teaser where it really was giving us the idea that, okay, what happened to T'Challa and what's going on with the Wakanda people, and we've seen how they're really struggling, and there's just a lot of emotionality that came out of that trailer. And I think in that one trailer alone, Angela Bassett's character, the Queen Mother, like, she was shining in that whole trailer. Here it's a lot more intense, right? We see a bit more of Namor. We do see more of Shuri. We get a lot more reveals of what's going on. So just a little bit of a breakdown. So right off the bat, you can tell that, okay, T'Challa may have died. From the looks of it, it seems very clear from that point. It looks like that they have a ceremony for him, and which could be part of like their mourning process of losing their king. And that's gonna be, I think that's going to be a really hard thing to watch just going to the theater, because as we all know, Chadwick Boseman did pass away 2 years ago from cancer, and he wasn't able to he didn't get to work on the second movie, and they never recasted him. So there was a lot of questions about that, and now we know that they are, in a sense, killing the character, which it's like the last thing you want to see is killing off a character. But I can see why that could be the case here, where they really wanted to push that narrative and to really just set the stage for the whole conflict that's about to happen, which goes into the second point, that it's pretty clear also that there's a war with what appears to be the Atlanteans, or Namor and his people under the sea. We've been getting hints about, Namor for quite some time now. I think it was back in Infinity War or Endgame, where Okoye basically was telling either I think it was with Natasha, and letting her know that, well, they need to go handle an earthquake in the Atlantic Sea or something like that. And I think that that's basically what that they're referring to. This is what we're seeing here now, and it seems like it's as if it's been a conflict that's been going on for a long time. What it is, I can't say for sure. I think they may have implied in the trailer, but maybe I just didn't pay attention to that, or maybe I let that out of my ear and just totally did not pay attention. But it seems like there is clearly a huge conflict going on between the Wakandans and the Atlanteans, and that's going to be the primary conflict of where the story is going to go. Which, again, that would mean that Namor will be the antagonist of this film. We don't know what that's going to spell for the character moving forward. Could there be a possibility that he might become a changed person? It could be likely, if it means, continuing off his character right after this film, because we still have a whole bunch of movies to go through before Secret Wars and Kong Dynasty. But with that being said, it's pretty clear that Namor's the antagonist. The Atlanteans are who they're going off against, and that's going to set the stage for where this movie is going to go. Another thing I also want to mention is that it seems very possible that Wakanda as a nation is right now in a very vulnerable place. That's probably going to be a major thing about this movie. We saw that in the first one. I think that was a very clear-cut message from the first trailer, where we saw kind of all the destruction. We saw how the Queen Mom just goes up and literally tells Ramonda, and she goes up and she tells, I guess it was like United Nations or something, saying that they've lost everything. And here we do see a bit more of the footage where they're so vulnerable now, knowing that they've lost their king, that they don't know what's going to happen in terms of accession. I think that could be a big part. Who's going to take accession now? That probably put them in a very, very tight and weak position, knowing that, okay, anybody can now try and attack them at any point in time and try to claim a lot of their vibranium weapon, because that's what they're really known for. Vibranium is a very, like, at least in the outside world, they don't realize how, rich those stuff is in the country itself, but that could still change the tide for everything that's going to happen now that they've lost their king. So that's probably where we're going to see another part of the plot from the looks of it. So we have that, we have the Atlanteans, and then of course the whole idea of who's going to take on the Black Panther role, who's gonna inherit it. And they've given us a tease of who the Black Panther is going to be moving forward, and it definitely looks like it's going to be a female character. It sounds like it's going to be Shuri. From just the trailer alone, it looks pretty clear that Shuri is going to be the one taking over the Black Panther role, which I believe that also comes straight from the comics itself. So it makes a lot of sense why she is basically the next one in line. She is definitely, if there's anybody else who would be feeling so much grief right now and would want to do everything they can to keep their country safe, it would be Shuri. And she's also the one who's most capable of creating a new weapon for herself, and that would be this Black Panther suit. Although there's still a possibility that it could still be Okoye, it could still be Nakia. It's still not exactly confirmed, but I think just from the trailer itself, it's pretty clear that Shuri, in that last moment that we saw, is the one who took over the Black Panther mantle. So that's going to be something that'll be really interesting to see, and kind of how they show that shift and that transition from basically, Shuri that we see in the beginning, where of course she is mourning, to now becoming the Black Panther and protecting not just her nation, but from the looks of it, even the whole planet. So there's lots to unfold from there. And again, I think just the whole trailer itself, again, it does. I think Marvel does a great job at it. The first one, it was very emotional. They really set that undertone of what this whole movie is going to be about. It's not just going to be a tense war that's going to happen for the Wakandans, but also how it's going to be a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. And here we get similar things, but also different things out of it. So yes, we get a bit more of that intensity, but also that this continues to be a movie that it's going to dedicate to Chadwick, because he was the Black Panther, right? He's the one who changed a whole generation of kids who, once didn't even see someone like them on the big screen, and now they're seeing him as one of the most popular and most notable characters in cinema. And we're really getting that idea, we're getting that feel out of it. And yeah, I mean, if there's at least a way to close off Phase 4, knowing that it's been quite a bumpy ride, since we still have, She-Hulk to deal with. Even with the bumpy rides we do have, I think that closing off with Phase 4 is probably the great way to go, because it does, at least I hope will end off in a, emotional but satisfying note, where the way that they handle the whole situation that happened in the MCU, and how losing T'Challa could mean for the whole series, and kind of giving a proper way for not just the characters to say goodbye, but even the fans to say goodbye to the character. Now, does that mean that they could still recast the character? That's kind of a whole rabbit hole that's really too complicated to go into, but I think for what they've done so far, it really is I think they're doing I think they've done such a phenomenal job, just, managing to handle the whole situation in a very wise and nice and respectful way. And this trailer again does that once more. And again, I can't wait to see Wakanda Forever. It's going to be an emotional journey when I go into theaters to go watch this, because of just everything that's happened. But yeah, this is a movie that's really, I think it's different, and I think that a lot of people will see just a whole different story. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer. What do you think? Did you enjoy this trailer? Has this changed your idea and your mindset about what this movie's going to be in general? Are you still reeling with the fact that this is going to be a very emotional ride, not just because of what the story is going to be, but because of the context of it, knowing that this is going to be a film paying tribute to basically Chadwick Boseman? What are your thoughts in terms of where the story is going to go and where it's going to lead, especially in terms of the broader essence of the MCU? Because there's a lot of leeway in how this could, impact the MCU itself, and how that could lead up to Secret Wars. Again, we do get to see a brief look of Ironheart. Not a clear look, but she's there. What do you think of that? And Yeah, and just give me your overall thoughts about it. Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe.